All right, I'm live. It says it right there. What's up, you guys? How are you? Just wanted to drop in with you real quick today. Beautiful day here. We actually have some sun, and I'm here at beautiful San Diego on day number 3 of my water fast experience. And actually, we'll be going to day number 4 as of 5 o'clock this afternoon. It's about 3:55 here in San Diego. So I'm going to share some of my feedback and insights from yesterday with you guys. I want to first start out by saying that, of course, I'm not a medical doctor. This is not medical advice. This is only me sharing through my own personal experience. And I will say that water fasting is something that is kind of the top of the mountain. You know, it's dry fasting is right there with it. Water fasting is definitely the top of the mountain and is very healing for the body on a lot of different levels. And you really tap into a lot of emotional things, and a lot of repair and regeneration happens in the body when we go on extended fasts. And so with water fasting, it's not something that you would just want to jump right into. I've been on this journey now for, some of you guys know my personal story. 8 years ago, I was 75 pounds heavier. I was 245 or 48 pounds, and I was really overweight. I was sick. I was developing heart disease, high blood pressure, I was a pre-diabetic, had sugar metabolism issues. I had major digestive problems. I had acid reflux, acne, gosh, you name it. My body was falling apart. And some of you guys out there watching this video might be able to relate with that. If you can, leave a comment below and share your story. So 8 years ago, my journey began of figuring out how to heal myself. And so I've been at this for quite a while, and 8 years into it, I'm now doing my first extended water fast. So I've kind of built my way up. So it's not something that you want to just jump right into because it sounds cool or something like that. It's something that you want to, you know, gradually work yourself up to. And so how can you do that? What are some things that you can do to work yourself up to where you might be able to do a water fast if you get cleared from your medical doctor and they say it's all good? Well, some things that you can do is you can start incorporating more fruits and vegetables in their natural state. I talk a lot about plant-based eating. That's what I do. That's what I advocate and really promote. And you know, eating plant-based foods in their natural state, so all the vitamins and minerals and enzymes are still intact the way nature designed them for our body, and all of the water content, most importantly, is still intact in that food. So the need for actual water is down. It goes down a little bit because now you're getting hydration or hydrated on a cellular level from the food that you put in your vehicle through the living foods, the raw living foods. The other things that you can do is some juice cleansing or even some smoothie cleansing. There's a lot of options and things that we can do to really support our body and doing some light surface cleansing and just kind of getting the ball rolling, just as I did 8 years ago. And then there's higher levels where you get up into botanical herbs and taking those to support your tissue and your glandular system and different areas of the body that need help and support, since we're not using medicine like pharmaceuticals. So those are some things that you can do to kind of work yourself up to the level of being able to do an extended water fast. And there's many benefits. We have so much research now that shows that water fasting is really beneficial when your body is ready to go to that level. And so here I am on day 3 and entering into day 4. And I gotta say that, you know, this hasn't been all butterflies and rainbows. On the last video yesterday and from the video the day before, I was doing the videos a little earlier in the day, around 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, and I felt fairly good during those times as far as my energy levels go, and wasn't having a lot of hunger pains and things like that. But what I noticed is as the day went on, after noon or 2, my normal eating schedule when I got closer to that, during that time frame, which is I always eat between 1 and 4. Now, I will share this. I've been doing intermittent fasting, which has really been powerful for me over the last year. So I've worked myself up to this level. Intermittent fasting for me is I eat at 1 and I also eat at 4. And I eat 2 meals a day, sometimes 1, but mostly 2. So my eating schedule, when I start getting around 1 or 4, my body intuitively goes, you're gonna start feeding me food. So I start getting these hunger cravings around that time, and they've been really, really strong. And there's also some other things that are going on in that whole system of what these hunger pains are, what's happening internally. Because I'm a holistic health coach and I really understand the body, and this is what I do for myself and what I help my clients with, is that I know what's going on. So these hunger pains that come up are some indicators that there could be some microorganisms, some parasites, candida, some yeast, things like that that grow inside of our body when we're constantly in a state of eating and putting nutrition in. Even if it's raw living foods or fruits, these things can stimulate and activate candida if we don't have strong adrenal glands and we don't have a strong system to support the foods so we properly digest and absorb. And if you don't have strong adrenals and you don't have strong digestion, what happens is we end up inviting in microorganisms and parasites because our body actually goes into some putrefaction. And if you're eating meat, you'll experience some putrefaction, which is the rotting, decaying of flesh in the body. And these things aren't good, as you can imagine. So I'm kind of feeling that some of this hunger, these strong hunger pains today at this time where I'm at now is much, much better. And it's 4 o'clock now. And so I'm feeling a little bit better than yesterday, actually much better than yesterday. And it's still a challenge though, because those hunger pains are still there a little bit. But what happens when I'm not putting food into my living organism here is I'm not feeding those parasites, I'm not feeding the candida, I'm not feeding the yeast or any kind of tapeworms or worms that may be inside of me. Even though I've done 8 years of lots of reconstruction and regeneration, I still have, challenges just like many of you. And but I understand what's happening. I know the process, so I'm not giving up and just saying, you know what, I'm so hungry, I can't do this, my body's starving. I understand I'm not really starving. What's happening is I'm working through some of these challenges, and not putting the food in is bringing them up. It's like pulling the Band-Aid off and saying, okay, let's fix this, getting to the root cause of it. And I'm also taking botanical herbs that I actually create and formulate. They're organic, wild-crafted botanical herbs, which are really powerful in being tissue-specific and regenerating adrenal glands and working on the glandular system and a lot of these different areas of my body that I know need to be supported. So I'm taking these as well in addition, and as I'm drinking this water and just riding this fast out, my body's doing a significant amount of repair and regeneration, and all these great things are happening. Even though these hunger pains are coming up, I still look, really great. And as far as my physique goes, I haven't lost this tremendous amount of weight, which I know that's a big question that we ask ourselves, is like, gosh, am I gonna lose so much weight that I get skinny and I'm gonna deteriorate? And I can tell you almost on day 4, I haven't changed too much. I noticed a little bit flatter stomach and maybe losing a little bit of body fat because my body is taking that, is using the body fat as its energy source right now in this fasted state. So, so these are things that are happening for me right now currently as I'm entering into this day 4. And my goal here is to maybe go to day 5 and just see how I feel, check in. If I feel strong and still feeling really good, I'm going to keep going. This isn't about this documentation, and the reason I'm doing this isn't to prove anything. It's simply to have an experience and to also dig in deeper to different layers of my healing process. Like I said, I had 30 years almost of eating fast foods and junk food and using drugs and alcohol and suppressing emotions and lots of stuff that, when you clean up your body, you start to work through some of these things. And when you hit the water fast or a dry fast, you start to pull these things up to the surface, and then you have to be prepared to work through them and process them. So this has been a really incredible experience up to this point, and I gotta say, I don't know if I'll make it 7 days or if I'll stop at 5, but right now I'm feeling a little bit more inspired today. And you know, a lot of times when we get on the camera, we want to put on a show and say, oh, everything is just great. And I sometimes want to infuse energy out to you guys as an inspiration, but the reality is that it's not always amazing. But we do have the ability to create something in our minds through visualization and positive thinking, while still saying, hey, I don't feel 100% right now. And so that's why I'm sharing these documentaries, because it allows me to share a little bit of vulnerability on where I'm at, what's happening, the emotional things that come up. The dreams have been pretty intense, although last night I did not have any, oddly enough. And you know, this whole process though has just been really incredible so far. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in and watching, and for all of your comments. And let me look down here. I had a few things that I wanted to mention, but I think I've actually already covered them, so we're good. So I haven't seen any comments that have come in from you guys. The other day I was able to answer a few questions, and you guys have some really great questions. If you do have any questions, leave them in the comment box below. Let me know where you're at in the world and what type of things you're up to. Are you cleansing, or have you done any detoxifying on your body? I do work with people privately, and I do have if you're interested in doing some cleansing or some detoxifying on your body, not quite like water fasting, but just simply like light surface cleansing, which is great for a beginner, somebody out there who is maybe wanting to get into cleaning up your body and you just don't know where to start. I have a program called the 7-Day Reset Cleanse, and this is a cleanse that's based around eating plant-based living foods, just as I mentioned earlier in the video. And it's really a great program because it allows you to not have too deep of you're not cleansing on such a deep level that it's uncomfortable. And it's something that will teach you some healthy habits and some principles that really help to change my life. And I'm teaching this now on the 7-Day Reset. So you get a grocery list, you get a recipe list and a menu, a guided menu for 7 days. So you kind of know there's a blueprint there for you, and you just have to follow it. And there's also group support as well in a private Facebook group. And this is a really great opportunity for you to jump on and just have an experience for yourself. And then take some recipes with you and some new information, so you can then continue on your journey and start your healing journey, so you can start cleaning up your vessel, your vehicle, because it's the only one that we're going to get while we're here on this planet. So you got to take care of it, and you got to start early. The earlier you start, the better. Even if you're a teenager, it's a good time to start, because you know, when we get up into our 60s, 70s, and even 80s, it's like we're getting dehydrated, we're getting stiff and inflammation, and these things are all around us. You know, we look around and you can see people are stiff, they're tight, they're inflamed. And so the sooner you can start to repair your body, give it nutritional foods, and hydrate on a cellular level, the better your experience is going to be while you're in your body and while you're here. And so this 7-Day Reset is not something that is a diet. It is basically something that can help you to create a lifestyle for yourself. So it gives you some guidance and some support and kind of a blueprint to get started. And this, I will leave a link below. So if you're interested, you can go to the website, you can check it out and see if it's something that may interest you. And pass it on to some friends if you know somebody who you think could really benefit from it. That would be great. Somebody just had a question here. Let me see if I can, as we're winding this down, let me try to get to your question. Let's see here. I'm just still learning how to work this whole on live thing. So give me 1 second, you guys. Oh, there we go. What detox symptoms have you noticed so far? I have not had any significant detox symptoms like things that I have had in the past when I first started, because my body was so toxic, I was noticing I actually had the flu-like symptoms for about 2 weeks, and that was really intense. I had mononucleosis when I was a teenager, and I had strep throat growing up constantly. And I took so many antibiotics, so when I started in the beginning to clean up my body, I worked a lot of these issues out. So my detox symptoms right now are not going to be what it could have been if I would have done a water fast, say 6 years ago. I would have probably had a different experience. I live a very clean, very clean lifestyle, and I eat 90 to 95% raw living foods and fruits constantly. So my body's well hydrated, it's well nourished. I use botanical herbs every day, and I do make these for my clients as well, and for any of you out there who may be interested. But this water fast, I haven't had any like severe chronic or any significant changes as far as detox symptoms go. I've just had these hunger cravings that have been taking me down a challenging road, and then some emotional things that have come up, but that's really about it. So I'm really fortunate to not have to report that I don't have any kind of major things that have come up. So, you know, that's where I'm at right now. Thank you for your question. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up because we're about 15-16 minutes in, and I want to respect your time and appreciate all you guys for tuning in and watching the documentation and what's going on. I'm really excited to share this whole experience with you. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on the YouTube channel. I'll leave all my information and website below. And I do offer, if you want to kind of take it a step further and you want to get a little bit more support or really get some questions answered on a deeper level or more personal level, we can always do a consultation, and that's available on my website as well under the services. Let me see, there's another comment that just came through. Is it okay to juice fruits that normally wouldn't be okay to combine, for example, juicing a watermelon and an apple, because you know you should eat watermelon before apple? You know, when it comes down to your fruits, I recommend just going on and Googling food combining. You're right, watermelons, fruits should really be, there's different categories of fruits. So you have your acidic fruits, you have your subacid fruits, and you have your sweet fruits. It's best to eat those fruits in their categories. And if you're gonna mix them, it's best to not mix sweet with acidic. And so the more simple, your body will just absorb and digest much better by doing that. So watermelon's one of the main fruits that you want to eat them alone or leave them alone. That's just the way that they are. You don't want to mix them and combine them with apples or anything. Always have them first and wait about 20 or 30 minutes to allow for digestion and absorption and get the sugars in the body, and maybe even wait a little longer, maybe 45 minutes before you have any other fruits. That would be my recommendation. That's what I would do if it were me. So thank you guys for your questions. I'm going to go ahead and jump off here, and tomorrow I'll be documenting again. I don't know the time, but maybe a little later in the afternoon. We'll see how the day goes. But I hope you guys are doing well out there wherever you are, and I hope this documentation is helpful. Stay healthy, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now, guys.